Last July 4th, Jeff and I took our first road trip. I was excited to introduce him to my College Station friends. "He seems sweet," Stacy said. The following day, however, our trip turned south when Jeff accused me of micromanaging his dancing at a local drag bar. After that, worse. He snapped at me, at everyone. "Don't want to ruin your weekend," I told a worried Stacy. "We're leaving." On the way home, Jeff scrolled through my text messages. Finding one from a male friend, he yelled, "You little slut! Keeping him on the back burner?" Fed up, I snapped, "After we get home, you never have to see me again, so you can shut the fuck up." That's when, at 75 miles per hour, he yanked my emergency brake hard. Like colliding with a wall, our bodies slammed into our seatbelts. "You let me drive, or I'll slit my throat," he threatened, unfolding his pocket knife. I considered calling his bluff, but was worried he might hurt me instead, so I relinquished the wheel, and as we barreled down the highway, he called me a whore and wouldn't let me out of the car. Acutely aware of how alone we were, I opened the passenger door and dragged my feet along the shoulder, kicking up gravel. Jeff screamed, but slowed down. When I thought I could make it, I staggered out into the middle of the highway, dazed. When we met 6 months earlier, things had been different. I've always been a risk taker, rock climbing, cliff jumping, hitchhiking in South America, Peace Corps at 22. So meeting Jeff on Tinder wasn't a stretch. At coffee, I met a man my height with a well-trimmed beard. His hair was buzzed clean, his brown eyes soft and kind. Conversation came easily. We shared similar values. He volunteered in hospice. I work in hunger relief. After a bike ride, we stopped at a bar. When a drunk girl appeared in trouble, we helped her home. Our Good Samaritan conspiracy flipped a switch. I'd be friends with this person, changed too. I want to date this guy. I witnessed additional acts of altruism. Jeff donated blood so frequently, the Red Cross nurses knew him by name. It also helped that the sex was great. The only red flag was his ex and baby mama, Patty. Controlling and abusive, she denied him visitation, Jeff disclosed. So when Jeff claimed Patty falsely accused him of raping and beating her to gain full custody, I believed him. I couldn't imagine this favorite of Red Cross nurses hurting anyone. Police would be looking for him at his place, so I let him stay at mine. Fast forward to the road trip. Doubled over in the highway, I prayed for cars to stop. "If cops show, I swear on my children's lives, you will watch me die," Jeff yelled from inside my Subaru. Then he hurled his fist into the windshield and I watched it crack. Something inside me cracked too. Something broke in my feminist, all-girls school-educated lioness soul. In that instant, I believed him, so I climbed back into the car. Back in Dallas, I let him stay, but I was checked out and numb. I lied, telling friends a rock broke my windshield. When I finally told my therapist, she urged, "Listen to yourself," convincing me to call 911. Police said the warrant didn't exist, so they went to detain him on suicide watch instead. But Jeff slipped away. No place seemed safe, and my sense of reality felt scrambled. If he lied about the warrant, what else? I contacted the only person who would know, Jeff's ex, Patty. Once I confirmed that I'd ended it with him, she shared hauntingly familiar stories. Car rides were a nightmare, she revealed. He pulled the emergency brake at 70 miles per hour and backhanded me in the face. In May, Jeff broke Patty's arm and held her hostage in a car for 7 hours. When she was 7 months pregnant, he hit her so brutally she had to be hospitalized. 2 weeks after she gave birth, he dragged her by her hair, smashed her face into a wall, and then intimidated her when the ER nurse asked, "Do you feel safe at home?" Patty later texted me, "You're not alone, and you're not crazy." And she sent pictures. Her arm after surgery, a dozen different versions of her welted face. When I showed friends, we shared the same thought. It could have been me. He's going to do this to others, one cautioned. You have to stop him. She was right. Turned out the warrant was real, just lost in the system. So Patty and I tracked Jeff online and discovered that he joined a group on the West Coast. We notified authorities, and after 2 weeks of searching in Dallas, officers arrested him in San Francisco. Tonight, while we sit here, he sits in a cell for aggravated assault causing severe bodily injury. The following week, Patty and I met in person. A stoically poised redhead stepped off the elevator. I saw the 8-inch scar along her forearm where surgeons implanted a steel rod. I learned of 3 other children Jeff had, of 4 previous women he'd beat. I hugged Patty way too much that day and apologized for it, desperate to comfort her, but also to find comfort in her. The next couple months, we called, texted, and met often. We bonded over a flawed system and PTSD. When victim services declined my protective order, advising, "Call 911 if he comes back," Patty echoed, "I can't even get in touch with my detective." Another day I confided, "I nearly had a panic attack when a friend took out his pocket knife." And Patty understood, adding, "I had to pull over when I saw a bearded guy on a bike." On good days, we talked about fixing the system for future survivors. In truth, we often struggled to simply not cry at work. Side by side, we've also found peace and healing. Picked up broken pieces and helped bind ourselves together again. Early November, something changed. A fall breeze on my porch felt joyful. On night runs, I noticed the beauty in sunsets and the cries of screech owls. Patty turned a corner too. After a day of playing with her toddler, she mused, "Laughter is genuine. The smile isn't forced. I am done wasting my life being upset." Now, I scatter Post-it notes around my house. One reminds you, one reminds me, you are capable and brave. You are kind, trusting, and compassionate. Treat yourself that way too. From another, poet Tepiwa Mugabe chimes in, "Sometimes goodness comes from treating yourself not like burned earth to dust, but like you made it into a beautiful body, crowned it with stars, put a precious coat over it, and called it home." Patty and I, we are goddesses, the universe expressing itself as 2 strong women. Don't pity or tiptoe around us. We are to be admired and argued with, wrestled with, stroked, loved fiercely and messily, treated as 2 incredible ladies who have thrived, not survived. And my feminist, all-girls school-educated lioness soul, it's whole again.